Hey everybody, let's talk a little bit of insurance now today. I did a video really early when I got into insurance of messing with my own personal stuff of home and auto, messing with the numbers, changing some things, because right now that I have back-end access, I want to know what's true and what's not. Because if it's anything, insurance is a sales business. And like any sales business, there's a lot of misrepresentation, a lot of false advertising. It's a lot of look over here at this, hey, no fees over here, but then they tack in fees over here and they get you for even more. So I was like, all right, let me just figure out like how the game is played. Why do all the commercials say bundle and save and blah, 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 blah. So the reason why all commercials are going to say bundle and save is because they want all your business. They could care less about you saving money. They are going to allow you to save probably a little bit of money, and some carriers you have no savings, but some carriers you do have a little bit of savings if you bundle. And usually by a little bit, I mean 5, 10. I don't know that I've really seen 15%. I would say maybe from a consistent basis when you're bundling something. So there are savings with that carrier if you do bundle. Yes, I agree. I'm not saying that is a lie. It's usually true. But what is actually true, and what I do with majority of my insurance clients, and I didn't know this before getting into before getting into insurance. Insurance is and I've done many videos of this, it's a very weird time, right? We're in June of 2024. These companies are not wanting business. They're not really offering great quotes. Some of them aren't offering quotes at all. They're turning down business left and right. They're getting excuses on non-renewals. So it's a very weird time. However, some of these businesses, some of these carriers have figured out their niche. And so what I mean by niche is they have figured out a profile, right? They have a profile of a person who owns a certain type of vehicle or owns a certain type of house in certain types of areas. And they're saying this profile within our law of large numbers, which is what insurance uses, is a very profitable person for us. That means that in the insurance eyes, we're going to collect their premium and they're probably not going to have a claim. Odds are, right? Or we're going to collect more in premium than what claims we're going to pay out. So what they're going to say is because of that profile, we're going to offer them a very large discount. And maybe that profile is on, I'll use me, right? A 37-year-old man that has got a high credit score, married, right? Drives a Camry, which is what I drive. And they say, man, a person like that profile is very low risk for us. So we're going to offer that guy really low amount on his car insurance, right? And in doing so, we're going to hope he gives us the rest of his business. And again, that's basically like their sales pitch, right? So let's say that carrier's offering me $300 a year lower than everybody else. Well, it's a no-brainer for me to go to that carrier. Now, that carrier's profile might say, man, we really don't want houses in 37932 zip code, which is where my house is at. We view that area as a very high risk. Well, I could go in and my auto, so I've got my auto with them, home with them as well, right? Bundle and save. Well, that carrier might view homes that are the type of home that I have, the age, the condition, the price point. They may view that as very high risk, and they have lost money by insuring homes like that. So they're going to say that home price is jacked way up because they don't really want it, and in doing so, I got to pay a premium in order for them to offset their risk, right? The risk of losing money on that. There's a car behind me, and I got to pull up here. But so yes, that's why honestly, majority of my clients, we do not bundle. Because odds are we usually find a carrier that is significantly cheaper on their auto. And then there's another carrier that is significantly cheaper on their home. So it almost never makes sense. And I say never, probably 80% of the time when people come to me for a bundle quote, usually I recommend 2 different carriers, and it's because these 2 different carriers are, there we go, back up, sorry. So these 2 different carriers, one is really big on wanting home in this certain area, the type of home. The other one doesn't want the home in that area. So again, prices are different. But now the carrier wants the home, maybe doesn't like my auto. The carrier who doesn't want my home maybe likes my auto. So splitting it up, I realize it's annoying, right? We pay multiple carriers between our rentals and toys and all the stuff and vehicles. And it's annoying to keep up with. I fully agree. Now, can I pay a little bit more and have, but I like to view myself as a little bit financial savvy, and if I can save, especially to the point when you have a lot of items that need insurance, thousands of dollars, by splitting them all up, it makes sense to do that. And so that's what I do. And again, I feel when I run quotes, 80% of the time, the cheapest quote when you combine them, home and auto, is splitting it up. But again, the marketing behind it is they're going to say bundle and save. Yes, if you go to one carrier and you probably say run my auto, and then you say, all right, well, what would my auto be with if I gave you my home? Sure, that auto is probably going to go down a little bit. And so with the home, if you did what's called mono lines, right, as individuals, sure, they're probably going to save you a little bit of money because, again, it's less risk to have more policies, which is the goal. They want more business. But when you actually break it down of comparing each individual with other ones, 80% of the time when I've done this, and again, I've only been doing this a couple months, right? So I have a couple months experience, which is not a lot in insurance. It almost always makes sense for people to split them up. So if you're bundled, sure, you're bundling saving. People come to me, hey, I'm bundled, I don't want to break it up. That's fine. You don't got to break it up. But I'm telling you, there's carriers out there who are probably seeking your type of auto business. Then there's other carriers out there that's probably seeking your type of home business. There's carriers out there seeking your type of boat business, your type of RV business, your side-by-side. Like, they're seeking that type, your profile. So they're going to be significantly cheaper than everybody else. Usually when I run quotes and there's like 30 carriers, there's usually 1 or 2, at very little times have I seen 3 come back to where they're extremely competitive. They're the cheapest. Usually there's 1, it's like a no-brainer, or there's 2, it's like really, really close, no-brainers. Very few times. And so that's why shopping your profile with all the carriers and doing that, to me, makes the most sense. Now, what I want, you to bundle and get all your policies with me, yes, that's more business that I would get. That's more policies that I would get. Yes, of course I would want that. But ultimately, you bundling and doing it, whether if it was both policies with me or both policies with the same carrier, to me, I think you got to shop that, and most likely, from my experience, you're going to split those up right now. Now, that might change in a year or two, because my understanding is with these companies are so wonky but they're starting to calm down a little bit. They're starting to take on more business. They're starting to open up their quote books a lot more to accept new business. And so maybe that changes. But as of right now, guys, I'm telling you, split those policies up, save you a couple $100 a year on insurance, and take advantage of it versus, trying to get all your policies under one to make it convenient. Again, if you want to pay for it, that's fine too. We all have our own preferences. But if you have insurance questions, feel free to holler.